5, Tzu Chi US Headquarters organized a seminar in San Dimas for non-governmental organizations. We take a look at how a group of teachers have come together to help children in Eastern Taiwan get a head start. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. First up in the Philippines, a fire occurred on January 28th in Quezon City, destroying 60 houses and affecting a total of 50 households. Upon learning of the incident, Tzu Chi volunteers arrived 2 days later and brought relief items to help these residents in their time of despair.
Tzu Chi volunteers followed the fire victims home to assess the disaster. What were once beautiful homes for 50 families is now nothing more than smoldering debris.
We
don't have many belongings left and we couldn't salvage any financial assets. What I have left are the clothes I am wearing and my children.
The fire occurred on January 28th in Quezon City, destroying 16 houses and affecting 50 families. Luckily, no casualties have been reported. Tzu Chi volunteers arrived 2 days after the blaze with relief items, including rice, drinking water, blankets and daily necessities, in hopes of bringing timely assistance to the residents.
Most importantly, thank you, Tzu Chi, for helping us get through this difficult time.
Now that we are capable of helping others, I want to thank all the volunteers for carrying out relief work in Tacloban and now in Manila. Each of them gives selflessly with what they could.
Despite having little left, residents do what they can to give to those in greater need.
I wanted to donate a little so that I know I am capable of helping others.
Surrounded by Tzu Chi's love, residents know that the path to recovery will not be a lonely one with volunteers by their side.
Moving to the United States, the Tzu Chi US Headquarters organized a seminar for non-governmental organizations, which was attended by delegates from Japan's NGOs and the U.S. National Voluntary Organization Active in Disaster, also known as VOAD. Together, the attendees seized the opportunity to exchange knowledge and experiences and also discuss how to build a closer partnership.
A delegation of Japanese NGOs and the U.S. National Voluntary Organization Active in Disaster, or VOAD, arrives at the Tzu Chi US Headquarters to attend a special seminar on how to strengthen cooperation during future disaster relief.
How we like to work from the local, all the way, not only disaster response, but the regular preparation. And how can we mobilize from domestic all the way extended to international? Everybody is our teachers.
The video brings the attendees back to the scenes during Japan's 3/11 earthquake, with the role of Tzu Chi's bamboo coin bank touching the hearts of several NGO representatives.
I am really touched by what you did for us. We have learned a lot during the seminar.
The idea of the seminar comes from Director of Mercy Corps, Randy Martin, who was sent to Japan to help with relief work following the 3/11 disaster.
In Japan, government will provide everything. The reality is it can't. In the States, there's not that kind of expectation on the government. In fact, there's expectation that civil society will be a major actor in disaster response and recovery.
In Japan, we don't have a like national board these systems, and we would like to establish same system as national board in Japan for the future disasters. Communicate with each other to avoid the duplication of services.
Through the exchanges of ideas and knowledge, the delegation not only gained a better understanding of Tzu Chi's charity missions, but also its humanitarian spirit.
In Taiwan's Taichung, to safeguard the health of those living in remote areas, for the past 6 years, Tima doctors have been holding free clinics in Xinshi Township on a monthly basis. Thanks to Tima doctors, many residents have regained their health and happiness. For the past 6 years, Tima doctors have been holding free clinics here at the Xingshe Township on a monthly basis. Other than caring for the patients like old friends, media volunteers also seize the chance to entertain those that are waiting to see a doctor. With happiness in mind, many patients say their pain has already lessened.
We are here not only to care for our patients' body, but also their mind. They feel that as long as we can lessen their pain, they will be happy. We know our patients so well now that we know exactly what kind of treatment they need. We have established a very good relationship with them.
Other than holding free clinics, for the past 6 years, volunteers have also been providing free haircuts for the locals.
The volunteers are very nice and care for us with extra attentiveness. They always accompany us to see a doctor when we need it. It makes me very happy to see so many people caring for us.
Thanks to Tzu Chi's monthly free clinics, residents in Xingshe have regained their health. In the years to come, this group of doctors also promise to continue safeguarding the health of residents here. The lack of resources in Taiwan's remote countryside has long been an issue that needs attention and solutions. With more resources given to bigger cities, what will children in remote areas do to get a head start? On the east coast of Taiwan, we see how a group of teachers has come together to set up the Haizuo Vacation School to address this problem.
Behind the 70-kilometer-long coastline that stretches from Hualien to Taidong are many hidden pristine sceneries. Today, DaAi TV reporters are traveling on Provincial Highway number 11 to mountainous areas to look for a place called Fanshu Liao. At the end of the road is Suilian Elementary School student Xu Chaohui's home. Coming from a single-parent family, Chaohui's 90-year-old great-grandma is left to look after her and her 2 siblings, while their father works in Taipei.
When the kids come home, they just watch TV all the time. We tried encouraging them to study, but they just won't. The generation gap makes it hard. All right, remember to buckle up. There is no elementary school further down, just a tribe. There is only one kid we are picking up here.
The school bus travels through a few villages, picking up a total of 19 children from the Kabalan, Bunong, and Amis tribes, all of whom will attend the Haizuo Vacation School in Yanliao. The vacation school was established by a group of retired teachers some 6 years ago, who rented a small piece of land across the Henan Temple in Yanliao as a way to help increase the local students' educational competitiveness.
We all know that there is a difference between the cities and rural areas, but exactly how big the gap is, you will have to come here to find out. These classes and curriculum we teach won't solve the problem. We need to go into the tribes and their families to get to the root of these issues.
In 2011, Taipei City was given a funding of some 176.9 billion NT dollars for education, while Hualien County was only allocated with 5.3 billion NT dollars, 33 times less than Taipei. With children from remote areas lacking educational resources, the vacation school aims to help build a solid foundation for these students.
I like coming to Haizuo to study because I get to meet new friends here and also improve my grades.
Coming here, I've learned to take care of myself because my father is not around.
To close the gap between cities and the countryside, these children will need everyone's help to get a head start.
The blooming of the Taiwanese mountain cherry signals the beginning of spring, and among Taiwan's indigenous tribes, it also represents the continuing cycle of life from one generation to another. Next, let's find out why the cherry blossoms have a deeper historical significance for Taiwan's indigenous people.
The Usa incident happened near here. Before, this area here was called the Usa Rebellion Memorial. Now it is called the Usa Memorial Park. After this park was built, every October 27th, members of our tribe would gather here to commemorate.
As a member of the Sidic tribe, Guo Mingzhen has spent years unearthing the history and culture of this area.
A year after the incident, we were moved to Kawanakajima. After World War II, we were called the Alangulumbang tribe. Whenever you spoke to the elders, they would bring up the Usa incident with tears in their eyes.
Driving along the mountain roads here, everywhere is living history.
This area was called Mazikochi by the Japanese, but we call it the Chuwang battlefield.
The mountain cherry trees here, due to the Usa incident, have taken on a deeper cultural significance.
Today, this area of the Chunyang tribe during the Japanese colonial period was called Sakurashai, as Hanaoka Ichiro and Hanaoka Jiro were also Chunyang tribe members, so scholars were able to easily take the cherry trees and find a connection between them, the two men, and the Usa incident. The blood shed by the martyrs during the Usa incident is symbolized by the brilliant colors of the cherry blossoms here at Usa. The Usa incident and the cherry blossoms of Usa are deeply intertwined.
Today, Guo Mingzhen takes us on a visit to the Alangulumbang tribe, where he grew up.
This is the Alangulumbang tribe. In 1931, when they came here, we were a total of 298 people. Now the tribe has less than 500 people living here.
Time never stops, and those who were around during the Usa incident are almost all gone. However, the cherry blossoms continue to bloom every year, with the tree holding an important place in local tribal culture.
For the cherry blossom, we see its blooming as a signal of the start of a new year. And with the start of spring, we know it is time to start the seeding of the fields. So of course, it is a time of hope, a hope that comes around every year, a hope of eternity.
In the Philippines, we take a look at how international reporters exemplify professionalism in the wake of Typhoon Haiyan, while also reaching out to help typhoon survivors.
The wind only started picking up at around 5 a.m. And then it started getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Super Typhoon Haiyan ripped through the central Philippines on November 8, 2013. Atama Raulo, a reporter for the ABS-CBN, witnessed this catastrophic event unfold before his eyes.
The most scary part of the storm was the storm surge, which happened very quickly. In a matter of 5 minutes, the water rose from around ankle deep to above your head.
The fierce winds and torrential rain made live coverage difficult, and any error in judgment was likely to endanger the safety of the news crew.
We decided to move up to higher ground before the storm surge hit, and there really wasn't any warning when that was going to happen, so I guess we were a little bit lucky.
Flash floods engulfed Tacloban at an alarming rate, forcing local residents to evacuate to higher ground. During his live coverage, Araulo saw many residents who could not swim. He immediately put down his microphone and began helping to rescue residents.
Their lives weren't in danger by this point, but it's still very deep.
Footage of this heroic reporter quickly spread across the world. Not only was Tom Aralo hailed as the national hero, this powerful storm also caught the attention of the international media. CNN journalist Anderson Cooper soon arrived in the Philippines to provide first-hand ground reports from the disaster zones.
It is a miserable situation here, and it does not seem to be getting better day by day. We're now entering the 5th day.
DaAi TV news crew and Tzu Chi volunteers were also among the first to arrive. With the city reduced to a wasteland, reporters had to overcome the harsh environment to upload their daily footage.
Leyte province was reduced to ruins. Our satellite phones were not working, and we couldn't send any of our stories back. It was quite scary. The first night was shocking. We slept on a thin plastic straw mattress on the floor with mosquito nets pitched above our heads. In the middle of the night, rain started to pour through a broken window, so we all had to move to another place.
Able to relate to the disaster survivors' pain, the reporters did what they could to help.
Holding her daughter in her arms, this mother is in desperate need of help. The DaAi TV newsman happened to drive by, so our newsman turned into an ambulance. We heard a piercing scream amid the ruins. We saw a mother holding her baby, running frantically seeking help.
The news team offered the news van to help, but was also reminded of their duty and mission. What if they could not upload their coverage on time?
That thought quickly flashed through my mind, but we know how precious life is, so we didn't mind letting them take the news van.
Inside Tzu Chi's free clinic, another crew of reporters witnessed the tug-of-war between life and death.
In that moment, what I saw tugged at my heartstrings. I had my mic in my right hand, and my left hand, I was wiping away my tears.
The child was finally treated for heat cramps, and the assistance of media workers truly illuminated the kindness and compassion of humanity in the typhoon's wake.
那还是给你的笑容，它会抚平你的心灵。因为我们有感动，才会把这个好的报道写得出来。有一些苦啦，在那个当下都已经不是问题了，因为我们觉得那可能就是一个在那个现场的一个使命感。
Well, I certainly don't think I'm a hero. If any journalists were there and they had the opportunity, I'm sure that they would do the same thing.
In Indonesia, the constant rains throughout January have triggered floods in Tangerang. The main cause because the flooding is the excessive amount of garbage that has been discarded into the waterways, leaving it clogged with waste. To help, the Army Command Headquarters in Tangerang has implemented recycling concepts at their campsite so that soldiers may also play a part in safeguarding the environment.
Today, soldiers dressed in camouflage are sorting recyclables.
I brought all the unwanted items from home to be recycled here.
Despite the drizzle outside, Colonel Wawan Ruswandi gathers his men from PFCs to colonels to sort recyclable items from paper to plastic bottles.
We would like to thank the Tzu Chi in Indonesia chapter. Our last visit made us realize that we were a step behind in our recycling work, as the Tzu Chi volunteers have long incorporated recycling concepts into their daily lives.
It all goes back 2 months ago when Colonel Ruswandi first visited the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter to learn more environmental concepts from volunteers. The eye-opening visit broadened his outlook and raised his environmental consciousness.
The regular flooding in Jakarta is caused by garbage being thrown into the waterways, and plastic accounts for the majority of the litter. All of us need to take responsibility for the waste problem in Jakarta and Tangerang.
The colonel hopes to put an end to the rubbish-induced flooding in Jakarta, and to help, the military has even decided to donate the proceeds from the recyclables to help those in need.
Moving to China, we traveled to Shanghai and Dongguan to see how volunteers have promoted eco-friendly concepts to members of the public. But first, let's go to Hunan's Changsha City to see how volunteers encourage store owners at the Gaochao market to join their ranks. To remind members of the public of the importance of recycling, more than 20 Changsha Tzu Chi volunteers in China seized the opportunity during the Lunar New Year holidays to visit Gaochao market. Baocha Market is the largest wholesale market in southern China. As the market is always filled with people buying and selling goods, the amount of garbage produced is fairly significant, especially recyclables such as paper boxes. Seeing the volunteers' efforts in protecting our Mother Earth, many store owners and their children have decided to join the volunteers' ranks in sorting recyclables.
纸盒子可以卖钱的哦。
我认为其实自己拿些可以捐给更好的人呢。
Knowing that there is not enough space to store the recyclables, Tzu Chi volunteer Deng Jinglian happily offers a place at her home as a temporary recycling point.
本来是做什么用的啊？
It was a small storage room. Although practicing recycling is not easy, it is something that we need to keep doing. We need to encourage more people to join our ranks.
Meanwhile, in Shanghai, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding their first recycling event following the Lunar New Year at the Jiayou community in Xuhui district. Joining the volunteers is 81-year-old retired professor Li Shenghua.
We can turn these unused items into treasure, right? This is the purpose of practicing recycling. Practicing recycling can also make our living environment cleaner.
Since last year, Tzu Chi volunteers have been promoting the benefits of recycling to those living at Jiayou community. Knowing the importance of safeguarding the planet, many seniors have decided to dedicate their time to the cause.
Practicing recycling is not picking up garbage. It can help needy families and students, so we need to do it. Although we have limited strength, we will do our best to help.
Upon hearing the good work Tzu Chi volunteers have been doing around communities in Shanghai, Pudong New Area Director decided to learn more about Tzu Chi's recycling efforts.
The Tzu Chi Foundation has been promoting recycling for years, and I hope to contribute my share and remind members of the public of the importance of practicing recycling. I will also do my best to promote recycling to other government officials. I think this is something that I want to work on for the next few years.
Also doing their part in promoting recycling are Dongguan Tzu Chi volunteers in Guangdong Province. At Chang'an Park, volunteers teach members of the public how to make eco-friendly detergent from fruit peels.
Before washing your clothes, you can soak them in this eco-friendly detergent. The clothes will be very clean as the enzymes in the detergent will kill off the germs.
To make sure members of the public can remember how to sort their recyclables, the volunteers have thoughtfully come up with a few tips.
一颗小小的电池可以影响，可以污染我们600吨的水。
Safeguarding our Mother Earth is something all of us can do. If each and every one of us can sort our garbage, together we can make our planet a better and cleaner place. We go back to Taiwan at the end of the show. To start the new year fresh, the superintendent of the Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital, Dr. Jian Shouxing, and medical staff gathered to clean up the weeds in the gardens located outside of each floor of the hospital. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.